And now we're starting the third part, is it the third? Yeah. Of the astrological compatibility and love and relationships. This is the one that is familiar from Western astrology to all of you. And the first thing I want to start with is house overlay. With this technique that I will show you now, you'll be able to see how you or your client is affecting the life of their partner or potential partner. You can also see how the potential partner is influencing which areas of life they're going to influence for the other partner. This doesn't show if the two people will be together, if it's going to make or break their relationship. It shows what kind of themes they will trigger into each other's life. Why is one person into the life of the other? What is he here to teach him? Because we're going to look where one's planets of one of the persons fall in what houses. Houses are this separation of the horoscope. For the moment when you are born, the sky is separated in 12 houses. And these are not the signs, these are the houses. You must have some, at least, initial understanding of astrology, what houses are. So whenever a planet of one person triggers the house of another, this is what the first person with his planets is here to teach the other. This is where this person is going to manifest into the life of the other, what lessons they're going to bring, what lessons in a positive or difficult way. And it's pretty easy once you learn how to do this technique. I want you to go to the birth chart calculator again. If you're using astro.com or another software, you can very easily see when you put one chart inside the other, like a dual wheel, where the other's planets fall in. But because I don't have such software, and you can do it just by going to the wheel, to the birth chart calculator, opening one's horoscope and opening the other's horoscope. And first, let's see, you want to see how one person affects the other, whoever you're interested more to know about. Look at whoever you want to see how he's being affected by the other person. Open up their chart. So, for example, a girl comes and asks you, why is he in my life? You know, whoa, what is he here to teach? What kind of themes, what kind of issues is he going to bring into my life? Yeah. And open her chart, and it will show her planets inside. But you're looking at the houses, where the house is indicated by the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not always so smoothly spaced out. Sometimes a house cusp, there might be two house cusps in the same square, which is the same sign, like that, and there might be nothing here, you know, and oh well. But usually they're like in probably 70% of the charts, they'll be evenly spaced out. And if there is no number in one of those squares, triangular things, it means that there is no house cusp there, but it will still be, it will still carry the influence of, you know, counting from the ascendant. Always, this is the first sign, the first house. If you count, for example, if there is nothing here, if the number 4 is here, or if the number 4 is here, and this is empty, to see how the other person will influence them, count 1, 2, 3, 4. It will be like the 4th house, because it's going to be in the 4th sign from the ascendant, which is again has the same influence as being with the 4th house cusp. Both house systems are correct. One is an equal house system, which uses one type of division. The other one is whole sign house system. Basically, one sign equals one house, one area of life. But both, you can look at both. So, what you do, you open the chart of the person, let's say it's a woman, and you want to see where, if there is a few planets of the other person falling in one of those basically houses. The more planets there are falling in those houses, the more this kind of lessons the other person is teaching this person. And how can you see that? We can go to the other person's planetary birth, planetary details, and check. Just, I want you to look only from the ascendant to Saturn, the 7, 8, basically 8 points. I don't want you to look at Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. These are too far away planets. Only those, the ones from starting from Sun till Saturn, including the ascendant. These are the 7 ones: Sun, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, these are the ones, Moon, we're going to look at. So I want you to first, always as a start, try and see where one's Sun, one's Ascendant, and one's Moon falls in the other's horoscope. So say, this person, let's say they have an Ascendant at Libra. So basically, if the first house is Libra, the second will be Scorpio. I think they indicated with small numbers here, with small letters. It will be something like that. Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aqua. Maybe they're in the corner somewhere. I'm putting them here. Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. But you might have someone with ascendant in Capricorn, so it comes like Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, ascendant in Gemini, so it comes Gemini, Cancer. You see the sign here. You see the sign of the person. What signs are the ascendant, the second, the third house, all these. So, I want you to go and first of all check if someone's Sun, the other person's Sun, say the other person's Sun, you go from the planetary detail table and you see that the other person's Sun is at 7 degrees in Virgo. So you, with your thought, or maybe if you print the chart, you can, basically the other person's Sun will fall here. Into the first person's 12th house. Then I want you to check also the other person's Moon, because the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant are the Trinity, the most important energies of a person. Then say the partner has Moon in Sagittarius, and the Moon comes here in the 3rd house of the other person. And say they have Ascendant in Pisces, here. Oops, Ascendant. The other person Ascendant falls here. So the biggest lessons that this other person will teach, the first one are in regards to 12th house matters, 3rd house matters, and 6th house matters, where these three, sometimes the Moon and the Ascendant of one person will be in the same sign. So there will be like a double lesson, a double influence. Say if you have if the partner has both Moon and Ascendant in Sagittarius, it both trigger the 3rd house of the first person. So there will be like a double whammy influence and lessons about the 3rd house. After that, I want you to quickly look if there are a few planets conglomerated in one sign together. For example, you might see that he has Venus and Mercury in Libra and maybe Saturn here, So you see 3 planets in one sign. This house will be strongly activated for the other person. So wherever you see conglomeration of planets, but always first look, Sun, Ascendant, Moon, and then often you'll see a few planets that fall in the same sign of one person's horoscope, But some people, they have all their planets in different signs, so one here, one here, one here, so this person will trigger a lot of different topics for the other person, but often there will be like a big conglomeration in a house somewhere of a few planets, and again work with from the Ascendant to Saturn. And I'm going to show you what these lessons are going to be depending on the houses. We're going to look through all the houses one by one. Oh, where is my... Just a second. Oh, good. So... Ooh. So let's see what happens if another person triggers the first house. If there is an overlay of first house, and you can check both ways, of course. You can check what one person triggers for the other and what the other triggers for the other. But I'll show you just in one way. The first house is here. So say you have someone with Libra ascendant, as I said, and someone who has their Sun, and their, say, Venus here. Might be another planet, or might be just the Sun. Like, for instance, my partner has his Sun, Venus, Mercury, and Mercury in my first house. So, what does it mean? I'll say that the person's chart is a woman, for example, and this is the man. So the man is triggering her planets. So what is this man into the life of the woman if he triggers her first house with his planets? We look at the planets of one person, the one who influences. The influencer is the one that with the planets, and the one being influenced is the one with the houses that they fall in. So this man, say it's a man, is into the life of the woman to teach her first house lessons. What is that? First house is self-confidence. First house is self-image. First house is physical activity as well. First house is even your own health and confidence. And I remember that when I met my husband, current husband, he was the one who gave me confidence with all his 3 planets triggering my first house. I didn't have confidence before I met him. He challenged me, he pushed me, and because of him I got enough confidence to start my own business. First house is about owning your own power, being strong, becoming independent. So this person, my husband, who triggered my first house, was in my life to bring me independence, for me to start feeling more independent, to be stronger. He also pushes me a lot to work out, which I never like anyway, but all this influence, I'm soaking it up through him in my first house. So I became much more independent, more courageous. I found myself. The first house is finding yourself. The first house is self-confidence, is self-strength, willpower in a sense. The first house is you. So this person comes into this woman's life to give her more confidence, to help her become more of the person she's supposed to be. The first house is your biggest talents, your most important side, So this is very invigorating when someone's planets of one partner falls into the same sign as the other's first house or ascendant, as we call it. So this person empowers the others. And if the planets are difficult, like remember that Saturn and Mars and Rahu and Ketu, Saturn, Mars, Rahu, Ketu are more cruel planets. If, for example, if my partner had here Saturn and Ketu, or just Rahu, or like Saturn and the Sun, and the Sun is also more cruel planet because the Sun pushes. The Sun is kind of tells you what to do. It's authoritative, so it doesn't do it in a smooth way like Venus. Oh, you're wonderful, you should start your own business, you're fantastic, with cajoling, or with Mercury by trying to convince someone, logically, or through conversation. No, if you have difficult planets here, like say Saturn and the Sun, or Rahu with Mars and the Sun, or something like that in the first house, this person again will take you eventually to having more self-confidence, to being more independent, but he can do it in more cruel ways. Maybe by hurting you, maybe by, not giving you support, so you have to rely on yourself. Maybe by criticizing you a lot. If it's Saturn there, Saturn will criticize you. If it's Mars, Mars will push you. Saturn will, and you still learn those, those lessons of, becoming more of who you are, owning your own power, physical exercise. It can be good if you're, for example, if your fitness instructor, his Mars and Saturn, the cruel planets, the hard task masters, if they fall in your first house, because he will push you a lot, he'll push you, come on, give me 100 more. Or if your boss is there, his cruel planets fall there, he won't be an easy boss, but he can eventually, this relationship will help you be more independent and strong within yourself, even though it happened in a painful way by him criticizing him or firing you or something, So you can find your own strength. So this is what the first house does. With the good planets, it does it in a supporting, in an enthusiastic way, by believing into the other person, by giving them space to open up their wings. The first house is you in your own glory, in your whole glory, opening your wings. So often someone whose planets fall in your first house, there will be a lot of focus on you and who you become as a person, becoming a better, more successful person overall in your life. And this is what you learn from this relationship. Even if it's hard planets, the eventual result will be this. Okay, what happens if the second house is triggered? Someone's planets fall, for example, if your second house is Scorpio, and you see that the other person has, say, a few planets, say Venus, Jupiter, Mars, or maybe it's the Sun, or maybe the Moon, you know. The Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, even on their own, always consider them in what house they fall for the other person. But the other planets, maybe there are a few together. So you have a few planets in the second house. Second house is the house of finances, practical material matters. So this person might be in your life to teach you the value of money, to teach you the value of how to make money. Maybe it's good for business relationships. So if you are married together, this person can help you become financially independent. The second house is the money you make yourself and how you manage your money. So this person can teach you to manage resources, not only resources, but possessions better, to manage resources, possessions much better, and to put focus there, maybe to start thinking about these things more. And if the planets are good, like Venus, Jupiter, Mercury, you know, the Moon, then this person can help you increase, can help the person with the second house increase financially a lot. If you're going to be doing business with him, you know, he can bring money if he's Jupiter and Venus, or the good planets fall there in your second house. He can bring you more abundance and wealth into your life. And if it's cruel planets, he might teach you lessons about financial matters, say it's Mars, by losing money, by spending in some way. Maybe this person triggers your second house by him spending too much, say he's a partner, and because of that you learn the lessons of material lessons with through the hard way. Or maybe the other person is too irresponsible materially, and he triggers your second house with some, you know, with some other planets, more difficult planets, and because of him you get to become more responsible financially, so you can balance things. But the final lesson for this is stability, working for stability, financial, material. If you're married with someone who triggers your second house, money will be a big point in the relationship for some reason, you know, and your relationship to money, this person will contribute a lot in an easy or hard way. Maybe the hard way might be through debt, so I don't know, whatever. I don't want to go in that. It depends on the planets that trigger it. Or if you say you have a lover and he's married, and his Jupiter falls in your second house, well, guess what? He might probably give you money out of guilt, you know, support you as a lover there. If his Saturn and Mars fall in your second house, tough chance, you know. He'll probably not help you financially so much, or he would push you to do it yourself. Now, what happens if we get a few planets here, say the Sun or Moon or a few planets? In the third house, the third house is the house of skills and interests, is the house of technical skills and information. So this person can really incite curiosity into the life of the person with the third house. You can incite. Third house is communication. So the person with the planets, say it's the man, can open up the ability for the woman to communicate, to express herself, to say what she thinks. Third house is how your mind is thinking. Maybe he can help structure her thinking processes and make them more clear. Maybe if it's Saturn day, you know. But also one of the most oppressing planets being in the third house can even block the woman from communicating because she starts feeling fearful if it's Saturn, or, you know. And because of that, she learns how to structure her thoughts more correctly before she speaks. The hard planets teach you the lessons of communications, of, you know, sharing information, of learning skills the tough way, whether through criticism, whether through pushing, whether through, you know, through arguments if it's Mars. But the smoother planets, this person will stimulate in you new interests, new hobbies. With such a person, for instance, you meet a man whose planets, a few planets fall in your third house, or maybe his sun falls in your third house, so he lights up your third house. All of a sudden, you start doing hobbies together. You start developing interest for skydiving or for developing a skill to learn a language. Third house is anything, any new skills or information we have to learn. This person can open the doors for you to study something or open curiosity on you. This person can introduce you to associates. These people can be good associates together. If your third house is triggered by someone, you can cooperate well, because third house is the house of associates, but also competition. If it's Mars, for example, and Saturn here, there might be a competitive streak. This person can teach you a lot about competition, how to handle competition, how to be harder there. But usually in personal love relationship, it has a lot to do the themes of communication, of saying what you think, the hard way or the easy way. If it's good planets, Venus, Sun, Mercury there, all of a sudden this person will make you blossom, share things, tell things, play, be playful, play games. Third house is hobbies, games, it's a playful, fun house, learning new things. This is the good way it can trigger you. And but also this is the house of siblings. So they can be more of a sibling influence towards each other, like good friends influence. I don't say that if someone triggers a third house, you cannot develop passion and excitement for this person, but there is, because it's more of a house of friendships and communication and hobbies, if someone triggers a third house, it's best that you have hobbies together, and this can grow into a very good friendship, even if it's an intimate relationship, as long as the planets that trigger your third house are not very painful, like blocking, like Saturn and Mars, or a few of those cruel influences. Now, what happens if someone's planets trigger your fourth house? Fourth house is family. Say someone's son, I don't have to write them anymore, but they fall here where the number 4 is, or in the fourth sign from the ascendant. Then this person, then say I'm the woman and a man falls many planets in my fourth house, and say I've always been a career woman, I never thought of settling down, a family, fourth house is family, putting roots. Look, it's the bottom of the chart. This is where you put your roots, This is where you do your base, foundation. This is rules, houses, properties, families, settling down, place of living, immovable property. This person can start stimulating in me the desire for that. This can be someone who is my estate agent, who triggers my fourth house, who helps me buy a house. Or this can be someone who, I pair up and I manage to buy finally a property. Or say a woman's planet falls in a man's fourth horoscope, so all of a sudden he wants to spend more time with her at home, he wants to start a family with her, fourth house rules family, or maybe she reconnects him with his parents if her planet falls in his fourth house, which fourth house rules the mother, the country of origin. Because of her he might reconnect with these people. If it's good planets, if it's the hard planets, again, you can develop this person will help you develop home, family, settling down, emotional well-being as well. Fourth house rules inner happiness. But through the hard way, maybe this person will, I don't know, I can't even think of examples now off the top of my head. But how can it happen the hard way? But maybe this person, by giving you by having problems around property and giving you a difficult or hard examples about settling down, that you decide to make it, the compensating part. But usually if you have the Sun, Moon, Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, those good planets, usually this person helps you develop more settled life, helps maybe with property, helps you with finding inner peace and stabilizing yourself emotionally. If it's the difficult planets, this person will trigger difficult lessons in regards to how you feel emotionally, your inner happiness. If someone's Saturn falls in your fourth house, it can be more depressing. This person can somehow emotionally depress you but he still makes you learn the lessons of emotional balance, because fourth house is emotional balance, even though through the hard ways, even if it's Mars. If it's someone whose Mars falls in your fourth house, he can agitate you, frustrate you easily, because fourth house is emotions. Mars is angry planet. And because of that, you learn to balance yourself later in life after living with them 7 years or whatever, or someone who triggers with a few planets, your fourth house might be the person that you want to settle down with, create family. Okay, someone's planets fall in your fifth house. Whoa, fifth house is the house of romance, of fun. I had someone that four of my planets fell in his fifth house. And it was love from first sight. And we're always, when we would see each other, we would play for hours, we were together for many years. And every time, even now, if we meet, there is sparks going around, there is always fun. We have like fun together. Fifth house is the house of fun, is the house of childlike play. Is the house, it has a similar influence to third house, but third house is more mental, is more like gains, learning new things, hobbies, while fifth house is more like playing, more like heartfelt, from the heart comes, like really trigger strong. So this person can help you have more fun in your life if they trigger your fifth house with good planets. With bad planets, maybe you've been partying too much and you meet someone who's Saturn or Ketu is there in your fifth house, and this person blocks you from being able to express your heart, your spontaneity. Fifth house, your fifth house is the house of performing, being childlike, creativity, expressing your true individuality. And if there are blocking planets there, or more very cruel planets, this person can kind of detract from your ability to do this. But through this, you eventually learn how to still be more authentic to yourself, how to express yourself more authentically. But with the good planets, the sun, moon, ascendant, Venus, and the rest, that's fun. Or he can stimulate the desire for children in you, because fifth house rules children, for romance, for flirtation, for performance. If you're creative, if you've never been creative, you meet someone who triggers the fifth house, you start becoming more creative all of a sudden, it's likely. Or it might be your muse, maybe you've been looking for inspiration. Fifth house is inspiration. So fifth house is the house of children and, creativity and inspiration. So you meet someone whose planets fall in your fifth house, sorry. And all of a sudden they become your muse and you feel inspired, Have fun. My fifth house is Gemini, and all the Geminis that I've met, people with Gemini sun or moons or a few planets, I have so much fun with them. It's like childlike fun. They're good friends always. And romantically, it's flirtatious, it's fun, it's kind of carefree house. And they inspire me in a sense to become more creative myself. Now, sixth house. What happens if someone triggers your sixth house with their planets? Just a second. Yes. What happens if someone triggers your sixth house with their planet? Sixth house is a more difficult house now. Okay, let's say it's sun or moon or whatever. Well, then sixth house is the house of, first of all, duties, hard work, responsibilities. It's a material house. So this person triggers in your life material themes. Maybe being more responsible, maybe working harder, maybe giving you, maybe how to create better routines. Sixth house rules routines, health routines, daily routines at work, how to be more efficient and organized. Sixth house is all about efficiency, organization. It's like Virgo. So such person who triggers your sixth house can be more critical towards you, because sixth house is a critical energy. Imagine like someone triggering your sixth house of its Virgo quality to the sixth house, because Virgo is the sixth sign. And say someone triggers the sixth house, this person can bring more criticism into your life. How you're living your life, maybe you're spending too much. And usually a lot of the lessons are about practical material things, how to do your work, how to be more efficient, how to be more productive, how to make less mistakes, how to perfect some skill that you've already learned. This is new skill. Sixth house is perfecting them, improving them. How to perfect yourself, how to perfect your health. This can be a good fitness instructor for you. Whether he triggers your first house, physical body, or sixth house, illnesses, and routines, health routines. This can be someone who motivates you to live more healthily. This can be someone through bad to good example. Maybe they overeat and they have addictions, and because of that you say to yourself, that's it, I'm not going to do it. Or maybe because they are very sickly and you start doing all the good way by giving you a good example. They work out more, they're more organized, they're more efficient. I have my first biggest love. He had 4 planets here in my 6th house. And to be honest, he definitely was moaning a lot about me not being too ordered, about not being too organized. So, there was a lot of criticism there, but I've learned good lessons of how to basically how to be more ordered, more organized. Such people can help you with debts as well, because 6th house rules debts, and they can help you sort out certain debts if you have how to consolidate them, how to better manage them. Such people can 6th house, the house of co-workers, people that you work with, or people that work for you. So you can have like a servant or boss and employee relationship with such a person as well. And if it's a sexual relationship, there might be that you met at work, for example, or if it's a sexual relationship, it might be that one person becomes more of a subservient to other, especially if the other person triggers your 6th house. Here, you might feel like, not inferior, but like doing more for the other, because 6th house is the house of service, taking practical care of someone. And my best friends, they're all Cancers, which falls in my 6th house. And they always, they're very strict with me. Look how you peel the potatoes, you leave black spots. Oh, you haven't washed up properly the plates. Oh, you should stop, you shouldn't eat this, or you shouldn't drink too much. So they always like have something to say about the 6th house matters, and to teach me about how to be more, how to have better health routines and daily routines and daily, how to take better care of myself, how to improve on things. But it happens often through criticism. That's why it's not very easy to have someone trigger your 6th house. This though, 6th house rules physicians and doctors. This can be a good doctor for you. He can probably find out if you find someone who is a doctor. If you're looking for a good doctor, usually someone who has planets in your 6th house, especially good planets, can be a very good doctor for you. A very good like healing influence, because 6th house rules this. What else does 6th house rule? But there will be, often when there are more planets in the 6th house, there will be more arguments, because 6th house is kind of more argumentative. It's the house of imbalance, you see. This is balance, the 7th house. The 6th house is below it, so there isn't equality much there. There is like, this person can bring into your life themes of inequality for some reason, like marginalization, like service, like more give or take, more give than take, or something like that. But usually what I've noticed, at least nowadays, is that such people just teach you more practical, how to be more practical, more organized, more efficient, more healthy. And it's usually with more friction. It happens with more friction. Okay, 7th house. Well, that's very good. That's very good to have someone's planets in a 7th house, because this is the house of relationships and marriage, or whatever, the first marriage. So if you say you have, someone has their sun or moon or the ascendant, or Venus and Mars, or Venus, or say you have Venus here in someone's, Venus, Sun, and let's say Mars. So, a couple of good, more easy planets. The Sun is not so hard, one difficult one. But definitely if someone has planets, someone's planets fall in your 7th house, you'd consider this person for a partner. They might be like, opposite, because this is the opposite house. If the first house is you, the 7th house is the opposition, the other partner. And basically the sign here, if someone chooses the 7th house, they can become like your ideal partner. They can be someone you are very drawn towards immediately, because you normally look for someone who triggers your 7th house. Opposites attract, relationship, the house of relationships. This is very, very powerful. And what does a person who has their planets in the 7th house teach you? Well, the focus is taken away from you. It's not in the 1st house unless there are other planets there. It goes into the 7th house, and this person teaches you a lot about relationships. Remember what I said about the 1st house? That actually through this relationship you learn how to be stronger, more powerful. The focus comes on you. In 7th house, you learn how to compromise, how to do equal give and take, In 6th house, remember, it's not equal. One gives more than the other somehow. 7th house triggers, these are lessons of inequality. 7th house is lessons of equality, the easy or good way. If it's good planets, say Venus, Jupiter, this person inspires you to partner, to involve them in everything in your life, to open up to the relationship, to be an equal participating partner. If it's difficult planets, it might be more hard for them, for you to learn this lesson. They might be teaching you some more hard lessons about relationship. For example, my best friend has her Saturn in my 7th house, right bang on the degree. I mean, if you can check the degrees, the closer it is, those planets in the 7th are to the degree of the 7th house cusp, which you can see in the tables, the more powerful the influence of that planet is. And she has her Saturn, a difficult planet, and Mars in my 7th house, both. And we're best friends, I love her, but she was the one who would always say, stop, flirting like that. Don't do this, men who think you're cheap. Don't drink too much when you're with a man. Don't dress up too low. And to be honest, I learned so much with her about relationships. But it's always in a nagging way, a bit criticizing. So it's not so easy. When it's a woman, it's okay when you don't have to live with her all the time. It's still painful. Even now, I was at the age of 33, to see her, and she had... I have to be very careful how I behave in relationships and with men when I'm around her, because she is always a little bit criticizing me about how I do relationships. But she taught me my biggest lessons. Probably I would still be single and unmarried if it wasn't for her, because I was a bit wild in relationships. But these people that trigger your 7th house, they are big teachers in equal give and take. They can also be good business partners for you. Even with the cruel planet, say if you have Saturn here, they can be a good business partner with you, because Saturn is about hard work. But the easier the planets are, the better it is. And because 7th house rules the marketplace, exchange. You give one thing, you receive another. So this is what markets and business are about. So such people, they can become good business partners with you, or if the planets are too difficult, or personal partners, love partners. But there, it's all about learning how to compromise, how to tolerate another, how to include them in everything, how to be equal with another. So the biggest lessons of relationships are the 7th house. And they can be very good. Usually if you come out of a relationship with someone who triggered your 7th house, you come out with much more deeper understanding about what you need to do in relationships in order to be happy, or your partner to be happy. Even if he triggered your 7th house with difficult planets like Saturn, Mars, Rahu, he or she would have helped you develop a lot through painful experiences, maybe what is important in relationship, maybe what you should do or you shouldn't do, what you should allow or should not allow. But it's very powerful to have overlay in the 7th house. Now 8th house, it's interesting. Where is my dirty sock? Here. Oops. You see, I need more of a 6th house influence people in my life. Oops. So, someone's planet's going into your 8th house. Let's say the Sun, or Moon, or whatever, Jupiter. The more they are, the stronger the influence is, remember? 8th house is a difficult house, but it's a house of passion. 7th house is relationship, equal, give and take. 8th house is considered a house of sex. The house of deeper intimacy. It doesn't have to be necessarily sex. But such a person, say someone's Venus and Jupiter falls into your 8th house. And if you've been a prude sexually, or if you've never been able to have an orgasm before, something like that, this person can do it for you, can open you up, so to speak, to intimacy. Because when is the best sex? When we're fully relaxed, when we're fully given ourselves to the other person, when we fully trust the other person. These are the most intense sexual experiences. So you want the Sun, Jupiter, Venus, Mars, Moon. Mars is good because it's a sexual planet, so it can stimulate that intimacy and bonding, though it can make it a bit rough. But if someone has their Saturn there, they can block. They can still learn or teach you big lessons about intimacy and trust, but the hard way, by breaking your trust, or by blocking you natural sexual flow together, by having to overcome some difficulties around your sexuality together in intimacy. If it's not on the sexual level, it might be on the, intimate emotional level, because 8th house, these themes overflow each other, deep sexual bonding and intimacy. And 8th house is the house of one's biggest fears. And one's biggest, most people's biggest fears is to open up to another fully, not to be hurt. But usually phobias and paranoias, something that that we have no control over. Obsessive, because 8th house is ruled by Scorpio naturally. It corresponds to Scorpio. Scorpio is obsessive. Scorpio is, the scorpionic energy of the 8th house. It symbolizes all things that we can be compulsive, obsessive over, whether it's a person, whether it's, addiction, or whether it's something else, a situation, maybe some habit that we have. And these people can bring a lot of those themes into your life. I knew someone, a couple, and she had 4 planets were falling into her husband's 8th house. And this guy was pretty straightforward, normal guy. And she came into his life and triggered 8th house themes, which are dark, obsessive. He became quite jealous. But also, she brought into his life the problem of addictions. I'm not saying everyone who triggers your 8th house will do this. So she took him a bit to the darker side. And he had to develop understanding of addictions, understanding of obsession, understanding of someone who is struggling with a darker side. 8th house is the darker side, the shallow side that we tend to reject and we don't want to acknowledge. But this woman, definitely, because he always taught you then that life was, pretty straightforward, get a salary, work, be a good person, and everything is okay. And she brought such intense issues and topics of taboo, of hidden. She had also past that was quite hidden, that was involved certain unsavory elements that she opened up to him, and she told him, and he was initially horrified when he came to consult me. He said, I don't know, I've never dealt with, such issues and such childhood trauma. She shared to him about abuse and about consequent, darker areas of her life that reflected, and he felt overwhelmed. But still, because she opened up to him, she managed to she triggered such big important topics, taboo, darker. So he had to concede that there is darker side to life, but there was a big transformation that happened to him. So someone who triggers your 8th house, this person will transform you. This person will come out of this relationship like a reborn. But first they'll take you to the pits of this, not despair, but 8th house is ruled by Pluto, which is the planet of the god of the underworld. And basically such a person who triggers your 8th house can take you on a very exciting, intense, dark sexual journey, or maybe in worst case scenario they can involve you in something illegal, in something secretive, or in secretive sex affairs, because 8th house is a hidden house. They can trigger in you certain sexual obsessions or darker side or addictions as well. Or if they don't trigger it in you, they'll bring to the relationship such kind of themes of secrecy, of darkness, of taboo, of something forbidden, of the shadow side. And after that, you'll come out regenerated. And it's almost like a healing influence which first creates a crisis situation in your life, and then you're reborn. And after that, because the 8th house is also symbolized by the bird phoenix. It burns down into its ashes. You think it's dead, and then it's reborn more resplendent than ever. So this is the themes that 8th house can bring. But 8th house is also other partners' money. Let's get to the more practical stuff, except sex and the darker side. Is other person's money. And if someone triggers with good planets your 8th house, they can, bring you money. Their money can come to you. They can be good for business partnership, because this is the money from business partnership, or marriage partnership. Maybe you marry someone with Jupiter and Venus in your 8th house, and this person brings money to you, and you become richer after that. Just like with the 2nd house, this person helps you create more money, while the 8th house, they can directly bring you or give you the money. You can benefit emotionally or financially with their resources. It doesn't have to be money, but it can be resources. Maybe they, in the smallest scale, maybe they can, someone you are sitting with someone in your school next to him. He had some planets in your 8th house, and you could borrow his pens or his paints all the time, you know, so they gave you access to their resources. In later life, it becomes on bigger scale. And 8th house is also an occult house, so such a person can also create interest to you about the hidden. I have a few planets in my husband's 8th house, and 8th house rules occult, astrology. He's a very material person. He never cared about that, and since we're together, he's like, okay, well, I'm not necessarily going to start learning astrology, but yes, it works, and wow, there is something invisible. He started believing in life after death. 8th house is all those things, life after death, the invisible, the occult, the secrets, to look much deeper. He started digging much deeper into life. And yes, so it can be crushing and it can be difficult, because such 8th house person, whoever triggers your 8th house, can make you confront really painful topics, very critical, intense themes of, you know, secrecy and a taboo and dark side and intimacy or lack of intimacy, or darker sexuality, hidden secrets, broken trust and things like that. Or even sometimes it might even create, you know, but if the planets are good, more good, like Venus and Jupiter and the moon, you know, usually this person will more likely deepen you, make you more deep, make you more. They can bring financial benefits to you as well. They can make you more profound, more psychologically, deeper sexual bonding as well, and all those things. Okay. 9th house. If someone's planets fall into your 9th house, let's see if we have battery. Yes. 9th house is a very positive house. 8th house is intense. If you break up a relationship with someone who triggered your 8th house, my God, you're like transformed person. 9th house, these people come into your life. Say someone has the Venus and Jupiter or Sun or Moon in your 9th house. These people, they come to your life as teachers, as advisors. 9th house is the house of the father, is the house of the mentor, is the house of the professor, the teacher, is the house of the inspirer, someone you look up to. So especially if it's good planets, this might be someone you look up to. This might be someone who gives you hope and faith. 9th house rules hope, rules faith, rules optimism, rules the bigger picture. This can be someone who helps you see the bigger picture in moments when you're feeling down, in moments when you're heartbroken and you feel stuck, or in moments when, you know, when you think like, oh, or maybe you stopped developing, you stopped growing. Now, 9th house corresponds to Sagittarius, so it's about expansion, growth, better vision, bigger vision, a bird's eye over the top, so you can see how the puzzle fits. God can often send you people who have planets in your 9th house, so these people can get you out of a rut. These people can change your belief system. These people, the easy or the hard way, you know, depending on the planets. They might depress you so much that get you out of the rut if it's with the hard planets like Saturn, you know, or usually Saturn is very hard. Mars, Ketu, Rahu, not so much in the 9th house. But definitely someone who will develop your belief system. For instance, my teacher, his planets fall in my 9th house. His Jupiter falls in my 9th house, so I love my teacher. He really opened up my mind. When I was most stuck, he appeared, he helped me with the business. These people will help you. These people are like a gift from God. These people are like a leading light. They can inspire you in some way. They can give you advice. They can help you expand. Maybe if you want to expand your business, go and find yourself a consultant with good planets that fall in your 9th house. He will have a very good vision for you, especially if the Jupiter falls there, but the Sun or Moon, whatever, as well. 9th house is the house of foreign travel. Maybe with such a person you can travel much more. Maybe if you want to get a visa and you've been rejected many times, go and find yourself a lawyer whose good planets fall in your 9th house so you can get you a visa. This person can expand your consciousness by traveling, by, you know, changing your outlook on the life, by helping you study, maybe opening some opportunity for higher education and travel for you as well. Overall, changing your outlook in life, through philosophy, through faith, through a different point of view, through optimism. 10th house, someone's planets falling into your 10th house. This person will make you more ambitious. This person can help you achieve with your career, can help bring you more authority. Or if it's someone's Saturn in your 10th house, he'll make you work harder to get to where you want to be. 10th house is the house of achievements, the highest point in the sky when you were born. So your biggest achievements that you can do, your actions. So it can very much make you ambitious, but actually having someone's Mars and Sun in your 10th house is very good, because Mars and Sun are active planets, and if you want someone to make you more ambitious, more successful, more go-getter, get someone whose Mars or Sun triggers your 10th house. If it's the more gentle planets like Venus, Moon, which are more feminine, receptive, just by being around these people, they can maybe be a support to you. Say, your husband's Moon might be in your 10th house, so he can be a supportive influence, not pushing you, but kind of approving of your choices for your career, giving you good advice. If it's their Jupiter in your 10th house, they'll give you good advice for sure. Or maybe the supportive wife whose Moon falls in her husband's 10th house, so she's there behind him always, making him achieve more and more by giving him support. But if it's the Saturn and some of the harsher planets like Rahu, this person can trigger you to succeed by being more critical towards you. But they can be people who, after you've been with, they really change your social image, because the 10th house is your social status and social image. So this relationship is there to make you climb higher, whether through the easy way or the hard way, whether through supportive way or by challenging you a lot to climb and aim higher and to fulfill some of your long, goals, and, maybe people who support you on a climb to the top in regards to your career. Maybe such people can be a good career advisor for you. Maybe such person can be someone who leads you in the right direction, like a paternal figure in a sense. But still, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have sexual attraction if you're looking for sexual relationship. But definitely this person will be in your life somehow to make you climb higher, to be more visible, to change your social status, the hard or the easy way. For ambition, yes, for more hard work. 11th house, someone's 11th house rules friendships. Someone triggers you in your 11th house, you immediately feel friendly influence. In my 11th house, I have Sagittarius, and I have two best friends. Both of them have Sagittarius ascendants. And I have also a couple of other friends that we had intimate relationship with, but the moment we met, we felt friendship connection. We were first friends. So these people can either help you meet new friends, they can be good friends to you if it's good planets, ascendant, moon, sun. If it's hard planets like Saturn, Mars, they can teach you more difficult lessons about friendships, maybe breaking your heart, or maybe, you breaking theirs in some way, so you learn to be more responsible there, or something like that. But these are definitely lessons of friendships, lessons of having mutual goals and ideas together. Because 11th house rules people that are like-minded. So they can bring into your life such like-minded people that support you. They can introduce you to new friends. So they can be the ones that are becomes like your supporters, in a sense, like benefactors. 11th house rules benefactors, those that believe in us and that support us on our goals. So they can be, it's kind of quite hopeful house, and it's house of gain. So such people triggering our 11th house can be very gainful for us as well, because they like us, not because because we're doing some business only, but because they believe in us and they like us. And they can make you more profitable, because 11th house rules profits as well. If you want someone to increase your business profitability, either find someone with good planets in your 2nd, 8th, or 11th house in particular, your output there, your rewards. The 11th house rules titles and honors, so this can also, someone can help you achieve this if they trigger your 11th house. But definitely feelings of friendships there exist. And maybe they can trigger new interest in social matters, in high intellectual matters like social, political, scientific matters. They can connect you to big groups of people that can be beneficial to you. because they can take you to big groups of people. You can go around and spend more time with bigger groups of people, become members of a group because of those people. They're there to expand your group consciousness and networking abilities, and friendship and ability to find others who are like-minded and to cooperate with them. 12th house. Someone triggers your 12th house with his planets. Okay, this is karmic. That's very karmic. 12th house is past lives. You've had definitely connection from past life, and depending if the planet is hard, might be a difficult karma from the past. If Saturn falls in your 12th house, it might be someone that you had Saturnian past karma with, resentments and difficulties that you've been overcoming, blockages. If it's Mars, maybe hostility and enmity or competition from past life. Maybe your brothers or competitors, or you fought in a war. Mars rules all those things. Saturn is responsibility. Venus is love. If you have Venus in the 12th, someone's Venus falling in your 12th house, there was a love relationship for sure, whether it was good or bad, it has to be resolved. Someone's Mercury, maybe sibling or friendship relationship, something connected towards communications. Jupiter, something to do with children. Jupiter rules children. Jupiter rules teachers. Jupiter rules wealth. So there was some connection there with those kind of things. But definitely there's karmic connection when someone triggers your 12th house, someone that you come here to complete something to and learn how to let go of that person or habit or whatever it is, because 12th house is the house of endings and completion. So you might be finding it hard if someone falls into your 12th house. It's an invisible house. It's the house of dissolution. So you don't really see, you're the first house, you don't really see what's happening behind your back. So often when someone triggers your 12th house with planets, you have a hard time putting a finger on them. There is kind of a bit of a fog. You're not fully clear what's happening there. Even, if they tell you everything, I'm not saying they're going to lie for you, but there might be some secrecy, something hidden, something that you're not fully aware of. I met someone, I have Capricorn then, I met a Capricorn man, and I was like, wow, immediately, like I recognized him. And we went on 2-3 dates, and on the 4th date, I thought we were dating, I was in love, and I realized he was married just by chance, just by seeing, basically, I don't want to go into that story, but, there might be something, or even if you're someone for many years, you might not be able to pin them down fully, because 12th house is this kind of foggy, unclear house. Something is not fully clear there. But on the positive note, good planets in your 12th house can teach you a lot about spirituality, can put you in touch with invisible world. This person can teach you about the giving, because 12th house is the house of charity. And sometimes you might have like a karmic debt to such a person that you have to give more to them than they're giving to you. When they trigger your 12th house, when someone triggers your 12th house, is the house where you give more. And it's a lot to do with giving more emotionally as well. Sacrificing more. 12th house is definitely having to sacrifice something, hide something. So this can be a difficult position, but it teaches you to be more charitable. Such people can make you be more charitable, can make you be more unconditional and love more unconditionally, to be more spiritual in a sense. And you kind of have almost like spiritual feelings towards them, like a soulmate feeling. But there is usually some complicated karma to resolve. And usually the person whose 12th house planets falls into your 12th house, you give more to them, and they get more, they receive more. But at the same time, someone triggering your 12th house, in Vedic astrology, 12th house is the house of bad pleasures. I think it's more like detaching from reality, so such people can be great inspirations for you. They can, just like the 5th house, the 12th house will give you inspiration, almost spiritual inspiration. But there is also ability to help you get in touch with your deeper side, with your more invisible side, and this can be extremely predisposing for sexual, losing yourself in someone sexually. So this can be one good indication from the 12th house. So yeah, I think that's what we said about the house overlays. And always look at those. They're interesting to see how what you're going to teach someone, what you're going to learn from them, what are the biggest lessons. And sometimes there will be someone's few planets triggering, say someone triggers your 12, but also your first house, and then they trigger your fourth house. So you have to mix and match those. It's not one person influences us on one level only. Someone would influence us on the 6th house to be more ordered, organized, but at the same time on the 12th house, how to let go, how to be more spiritual. So both, you have to balance. Someone who teaches might influence our 10th house of being more career ambitious, going out into the world and, taking over the world, but also they might stimulate also our 4th house. So it's about also being settled, finding a balance between family and ambition, So you have to think a bit more creatively when you combine the meanings. Thank you.